Hey, what's up, guys? This is going to be my top 5 movies of 2018. Now, I've seen a lot of good movies this year. It's been a great year for movies, in my opinion, but it can only be 5 in the end. So, before we get into it, I'd just like to talk about a couple of my honorable mentions. My two honorable mentions, 8th Grade and Black Klansman. So, let's start with 8th Grade. 8th Grade was a very good movie by Bo Burnham, and so it's kind of a high school drama. It's nominated for a comedy by the Golden Globes, but I'd consider it more of a drama. But it was very enjoyable. I found it very relatable as a movie. I really connected with it on an emotional level, so that was a big part of my enjoyment of it. I think that the main actress, she did a great job. I like that they chose actual kids to play the kids and not young adults in their 20s, and they chose kids that aren't models. So when they're complaining, so when kids are supposed to be the relatable one because they're not pretty enough, they're not models, and it's they actually look relatable in that sense. So I thought Bo Burnham did a great job in his casting decisions. So yeah, I think it's also really well written, really well acted, and I really connected with it, and it's a really enjoyable movie. It's kind of painful in some parts to watch, but yeah. The only downside is that some of the cinematography and stuff felt a little unprofessional and that, but it's his first movie, and so I feel like he definitely shows a lot of promise as a director. So yeah, the other honorable mention is Black Klansman. It was a very enjoyable movie by Spike Lee. It's my first Spike Lee movie, so I've heard he's made a lot of other good stuff, but also some other not so good stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think Adam Driver did a great job as the supporting role. I think he was a great actor, so yeah, I thought it was mostly a pretty enjoyable movie, but it wasn't anything too spectacular to bring it above an honorable mention. So now let's get into the 5 movies. Now, I've talked about a lot of these movies in my reviews, so I'll go into more detail about the one that I haven't talked about, but for most of the other ones, there are more detailed reviews in my reviewing stuff I've seen, so go check out those if you want more details. But at number 5, we have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's a Coen Brothers film on Netflix, and it's a Western movie with 6 different short films, 6 different short stories rolled into one. It's very enjoyable, it's very funny, got a great sense of humor, it's really well written, it's really well acted, it's really well shot. Pretty much everything is great. It's very entertaining, it's very fast-paced. I never felt really bored except for a little bit towards the 5th short at some points, but yeah, it was a very enjoyable movie. I'd highly recommend it. At number 4, we have Anthropocene. It's a documentary, and it features a lot of photography and landscape shots from Edward Vertinsky, who's a Canadian photographer, I believe. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, this movie is very gorgeous. I think the photography and the landscape shots are the best part about it. It's pretty breathtaking and stunning and beautiful to look at, but also kind of terrifying and disturbing at the same time. And I was pretty much captivated the whole way through. The time just flew by because I was just glued to the screen, I guess. But yeah, probably my favorite documentary of the year. At number 3, we have First Reformed. I talked about this very recently, but it's a very good character study. I think Ethan Hawke, the main guy, he did a great job in the lead role. It was a great performance, one of the best performances I've seen all year. It was a great script that was really well shot. It's a really interesting story to watch and to see how the characters develop throughout the story. Yeah, so yeah, highly recommend it. Now, number 2 is Burning. Now, when I talked about it, I said it would be my movie of the year, and I still thought it would be my review of the year pretty soon coming up to this, but I feel the more I've thought about it, the more I realized that the number 1 spot kind of deserves it. Even if I feel I had a better time watching Burning than I did the number 1 spot. Yeah, Burning, so let's talk about Burning a bit, because, well, I still loved it, and it was still incredible, and still probably my most enjoyable experience of the year. So I talked about it a bit in my reviewing stuff movie, but yeah, so great performance from Steven Yeun in the supporting role as Ben. He was one of the best supporting actors of the year, I thought. It was gorgeously shot. There are some really nice long takes in this movie, and it's really good kind of a color palette and art direction. The script was good. It was probably my favorite screenplay of the year. There's some really interesting dialogue and really great lines throughout it. It's a really interesting mystery, and it's another one where the time kind of flew by, where I was just kind of glued to the screen and just kind of transfixed by everything that was going on. It's a very long movie, but it definitely deserves its length. So, very, very good. I'd highly recommend it, but it's not my number 1. My number 1 is still going to be Roma. Now, I thought Roma would be my number 2 because my reason is that Burning kind of just sucked me in right from the start and just had me there the whole way through. I didn't really feel that way about Roma until like maybe halfway through, but I felt like the first half of Roma, I was almost kind of waiting for it to pick up and waiting for the interesting stuff to start happening, and I kind of wish that I have enough time to see it a second time before making this review, because that would maybe more accurately solidify my decision. But I just feel like I was gonna put it in second place, but the more I think about it, the more I realize how almost like perfect of a movie it is. Like everything, every single aspect seems to be just like expertly crafted, masterfully made. I think this is like Alfonso Cuarón's magnum opus of a film, and like I can't really think of any technical aspects that need improving or that didn't seem up to par. Like everything was masterfully crafted, was unbelievably perfect. Like all the performances were great, especially the lead actress and the supporting actress from the mom. The cinematography was gorgeous. It's some of the best I've ever seen. The writing was great. Like, yeah, I said the performances were great. It was a really interesting story. That's the only thing about it is that, yeah, I said it didn't really pick up until halfway through for me, but maybe if I see it again, then I'd have a more enjoyable time. But like, it's pretty stunning to look at, and there are some amazing shots in this movie. So yeah, I'm just having trouble thinking about like what else to talk about, because it's such a perfect movie in pretty much every single way. So honestly, it might even go in my top 5 of all time, or maybe my top 10 of all time. I still haven't thought about that enough. But yeah, it's on Netflix, so just go watch it right now. You really should. It's really it's something else. It's an experience. I don't think I've seen a movie like that in a very long time. So yeah, I just say, just go watch it. It deserves to be watched by pretty much everyone, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about it right now. So yeah, that was my top 5 of the year. Let's hope that 2019 has some great movies as well. This time I will plan on going to TIFF instead of just seeing the movies afterwards. I do want to go to TIFF and see the movies when they're still in the festival, so maybe I'll get some videos about that next year. But yeah, have a good rest of 2018 and see you in 2019.